Hello and welcome back to a new episode for Junk Mail Journaling Ephemera. My name is Amethyst, and this lovely channel is where we mix together both the magical and the mundane. So for this project, we're going to go ahead and use some envelopes that we have in our junk mail stash. For this one, you will need to have different style of envelope windows. This is important for multi-layered windows, for any specimen cards, envelopes, pockets, just for the fact that you can see the multiple layers of each window. And I really like using the really funky looking windows for this type of project. So for this one, I've already marked out a rough area of where I want the window to be lying on top of each other, like this. And I just marked it with a pin. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the top layer because that will be decorated later. And we're going to go ahead and age this under layer here. And so for this style, I do want to go with more of a woodsy kind of theme. So I have some pressed flowers to put in between the two layers, kind of sandwiching it in. And so to pull in a little bit more of that foresty kind of look, I'm going to go ahead and use a lot more greens and softer blues. So for today, I'm going to be using Pilled Paint, Bundled Sage, and Weathered Wood. So you don't have to go all the way out, just on the fact that for the layering windows, the only area that this part is going to be seeing is like this area. So, super small area. Super small area. We're going to add in some, ooh, this is a different color. That's okay, we'll leave it. Bundled Sage. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna dab the color in. Go ahead and figure out where we're going to put these. Oop. Static electricity does wonders. Okay. So what we're gonna go ahead and do and just layer on the pieces for the specimen window. So this is a dried carnation that I got a while ago, and I just opened it up and flattened it out between a really large book, page, like a couple layers of books, and just pressed a living daylight inside of it. And I don't know what this flower is. It came from the big bouquet that I had. And I just pressed it and it came out beautifully. So that worked. Typically I want a stronger kind of glue. But just on the fact that this is so delicate, just going to go ahead and apply thin layer of glue on where it's going to make contact with the paper. So for this one, since it's so big, I'm actually just going to attach the glue directly to the paper and then just put the flower on top. So I'm just going to just go really liberal with the glue here. Go ahead and take the glue and add some extra glue to the, the flower petals that didn't get glued down enough. And just start gluing these petals down a little so they stay in place, just like that. That happens. Sometimes they'll come off. Just glue them back on. This one I'm just straight up going to actually take off. So this really thin squeezy bottle works really well for dried flowers because it is so thin. So I'm going to go ahead and leave in the description box a list of items that I use in my videos. It is linked to my website. So just follow the link to my website and it will give you a huge list of all the stuff and you can just go ahead and follow along that way. Actually, I'm going to move the stamen a little bit out so it sticks out a little bit more. It's so weird looking when it's flat. And then I have some of these ones that were pressed individually. And you can kind of tell when they were pressed because these red ones were pressed, I think, immediately after I got the blooms. Well, this big one, I got that flower a little bit later. So when it finally started drying in the book, when I finally got into the book, it lost a bit of its color. I also noticed that if you separate the petals more, they dry faster, obviously, less layers, but it means that it retains the color a lot better as well. So if you really want to keep the color of the flowers that you're pressing, press them early and press them thin. So in this bottle, I believe I put Elmer's glue. So it's not going to stick very well on the plastic, obviously. But paper on paper, just fine. I'm not too worried about adhesion too much because it is going to be sandwiched in between two layers. So in theory, this window will definitely protect it. These flowers from getting too damaged. that dry, and while it's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up a little bit of the petals and things. Okay, we're gonna pull this to the side so it can dry on its own. And we're going to decorate the top layer a little bit with some aging, because that's always important. Okay, so for this layer, I'm gonna go ahead and use some different colors for contrast. And for this one, I'm deciding to use Tattered Rose, Walnut Stain, Vintage Photo, and Antique Linen. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the lightest color, which is going to be Antique Linen. Well, Tattered Rose is also kind of a light color, but I want to get some of this yellow, this lightly aged look on the outside here. Because of all the static electricity, my hair from my dog is getting stuck on the window. It's just kind of maddening. So I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay. I really actually just want to leave that alone. I think it's fun that these are actually envelopes that were for bills. I just want to leave that alone as kind of an homage to the fact that this is junk mail ephemera. So I'm going to leave that alone. And to seal it, I'm going to go ahead and cut out some thicker paper. Alright, so in order to reinforce this card, what I'm going to go ahead and do is add in a thicker, like, cardstock piece of junk mail. This is a credit card offer. In order to give a little bit of strength and durability to this underlying piece. Because without it, it's not going to last very long. It's just going to kind of fall apart every time you pick it up or slide it out. So it does need an extra little boost of durability. So what I'm going to do is cut this out. I have a box cutter, which works really well. And what I'm doing is I'm just roughly cutting this out a little. You can use an X-Acto knife, you can use scissors, whatever works well for you to cut this out. I just did this way because I feel like it might be a little bit more accurate. Probably not, but yeah, it's a nice feeling. I'm just gonna cut off this rough part. It's okay if it's a little bit torn here. I think I'm just gonna glue that down. But in order to prevent it from tearing more, I'm just gonna use a pair of scissors and trying to rub a blade across it. No chance of catching. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mark pencil. I'm gonna mark where the window is at. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit shy of where this line is at. I don't want it to be exactly at that line, just a little bit less. Like that. That line on that blue card is really hard to see. There it goes. Double check it's not poking out anywhere. No, it's good. I just cut it a little funky. That's alright. And then wherever that line is, we're just going to go ahead and cut out a window. Okay, and then we're going to take this. I know we're probably not going to be able to see anything, but just in case, I'm just going to go ahead and edge this so it's not pure white. What I'm going to go ahead and do is glue this piece and then place it on top of it. And for that, I am going to use my 3-in-1 glue because this is slightly laminated paper. It needs a better grip, better adhesive. I'm gonna go ahead and do is age this spot back here, and then go ahead and curve the edges so it won't catch on anything if we stick it in a pocket. Alright, so this one I'm gonna go a little darker because I noticed when it has a print that's really like a dark color, a darker stain works a whole lot better. Just all around. Okay, and for this, what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually put some washi tape around the edges. And the reason why I didn't flip it, because another option that you can do if you don't want to put washi tape or anything, is to take the two envelopes and smush them, and this, the part where the plastic adheres to the envelope is actually in between the two sandwiches. Okay? But I flipped it around and I didn't like the pattern on the inside of the envelope. That's why I didn't for this one. I would rather have the print on the outside than on the inside of the card. We're going to go ahead and put some washi tape on the edges here. For this one, I'm going to do plants. We're going to go ahead and do plants. Maybe some numbers. And if you're curious about the washi tape, again, the things that I will be using in this video, if they're available, will be linked down below to my website. Follow my website, and I have a page specifically just for things that I've used in this video, and other videos too. Oop. And before I completely push this down. Whoop. I tried pulling it up and it was taking everything with it, so I have a feeling that this washi tape is just fine by itself. So I'm gonna leave it by itself. And I'm going to straight up tear it down the middle. Age the washi with a little bit of walnut stain, just so it doesn't stick out being so white. Adding a bit of lace. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Yep. I like that. We're gonna use it. I wonder if I'll go a little bit longer. Just make it to the edge. Ooh. Kinda like that. Alright. We need something here to cover up that spot. like that better. I'll leave it on top. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then add that on top. Alright, before I glue them, I'm just going to actually trim off the edges here. So we're going to go ahead and stamp with this one, which is another Stamp It Up stamp. And the Distress Rangers Archival ink in Grounds Espresso. To be honest, I got this recently, so it's exciting to be able to use this in a project. So I'm just going to tamp it down. Kind of smudged it a little. That's okay. Earlier when I marked the paper, I actually marked it with a pen on this layer. So I'm just going to add some swirls on here to hide that oops. Good, so I just need to stain these to the right color. I think I'm going to use Vintage Photo. I'm gonna add a little bit of black soot, just a tiny bit to pop in the black swirls I got going on. Just a little bit on the edge, not a lot. Just to pull in that black. And here we go. This is the Junk Mail Specimen card. And here is the front. And here's the back. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you liked it, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button. There's also some information if you wanted to know the types of things that I used during the video. It will be in the description, link to my website, as well as if you wish to buy me some yummy tea. I do have a coffee page going on, as well as memberships for like readings for every month and those kinds of things. So if you want to check it out, it will be in the description. And so thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Bye. There we go. Our little specimen card, or big. Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Junk Mail Journaling Ephemera. And my name is Amethyst, and this is my channel, Amethyst Creations, and I welcome you. Here we have 2 cards from my junk mail stash. And these 2 windows I have picked because they are actually different, which will be very useful when doing multiple layers for specimen cards. Or specimen windows. I'm still deciding on how I'm going to phrase that. We will get there. We will get there soon. Here we have 2 envelopes, and I have chosen these 2 out of my junk mail journaling